Please don't deprive them of this way to enjoy your story.
It's funny.
Throw in some weird fucking math. Throw in some math that's deliberately wrong so that some fucking physics nerd, like, this is me, this is like not written. Throw in some fucking math that some physics nerd has to go and be like, that shouldn't work. Why shouldn't that work? I know this shouldn't work, but why shouldn't that work? And then they go, oh, this is why, because that's impossible because of this. And then they have to go, but in the story it does work, so why does it work here? Right? So like, fucking throw in some math. Let it break the physics of your shit. And then when a physicist points it out to you, use that flaw in the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, that'd be so fucking intense. I mean, it's like some book 2, book 3 shit, but, like, you could so do that.
Yeah. I accidentally gave him fish bait as a present. I'm like, I wasn't giving you bait as a present, you turd.
So you're not a bait gift for
Well, no, he is. He just rejected it, and you were like, that wasn't a present! Damn it!
Trump's border czar rages about migrants being too educated about rights and ICE roundups. CNN says federal agents launch nationwide immigration blitz. If you're upset that immigrants know their rights, it means you were planning on violating their rights.
Hmm?
Just stand there. There you go.
There's a good boy.
my actual, unfiltered, dog shit opinion. 2. Get folded for being wrong. 3. Internalize the new and better ideas. And drop the old one. Rinse and repeat.
Okay.
Which is, like, okay, so that thing I just quoted was a response, or like a next add-on to this original bit right here, right? Which is a conversation between Biohorror Human and Rat Warlock. Okay? So Biohorror Human says, if Trump bans porn, it'd be one of the greatest things to happen in this nightmare country. Either jerk it to the mind or commit to a relationship, but no more sexual exploitation. And Rat Warlock says, censorship doesn't actually end sexual exploitation. People will continue to make porn, only now without any legal protections in place for those who participate. And hardcore conservatives pushing for this consider gay people being depicted at all to be the same thing as explicit content. Biohorror Human. Shit, that makes a lot of sense. You know? So, again, 1, say my actual unfiltered dog shit opinion. 2, get folded for being wrong.
Yeah.
3, internalize this new information and drop the old idea. It's fucking beautiful. I love it. They go, if you look hard enough, you will find so many insanely dog shit takes from me.
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, I need your move, but I have to go get the door. Up my neck. Come on. I know you can whine at her for having to do it. It'd be kind of cool if, you know, we were just involved and we could just breed the dogs over the course of time, living on our ranch. We could have, like, cane corsos for, like, a little bit of light pulling and mostly protection work. We could have Irish wolfhounds to help hunt down any coyotes or anything like that. They come after livestock, and we have curs that run out and get us rabbits, ravenbacks, we don't actually have to hunt, you know.
hockey,
I mean,
apparently.
I guess. That's the best I got. One way or another, support from him. Hard to swallow pills. At some point, you have to stop fantasizing about your ideas and actually write them down. No.
Pass.
I was thinking, porn is a weird word. I wonder where it comes from. And in a moment of genius intellect, I googled porn, assuming the first thing to come up would be a resource like a definition or Wikipedia page, which could show me etymology. This was not the case.
What's your dream job? I'm so glad you asked. Picture this. I am the lone employee of a strange and mysterious tchotchke/bookshop in the middle of nowhere, full of fun and interesting things that I am allowed to take for the low price of free of charge. I get one exceedingly interesting customer per hour. I work no more than 20 hours a week, and am salaried $3 million. That's a beautiful job. Why is it that I can go through the whole day feeling fine and dandy, but the second I lay down for bed, impending doom settles on me? A compelling law. What's going on? It's not interesting. I'm in this photo. I like it. Whatever you think you can't do, just know there is someone who is confidently doing it wrong right now. They have no plans at doing it better either, and people are paying them to do it. Please believe in your excellence as much as they believe in their mediocrity. Ooh, that's not fun. As a lawyer who's been practicing for 6 years now, I can say with certainty that this 100% applies to lawyers. Oh no! That's concerning. Me, my writing is so bad. Meanwhile, at Disney, somehow, Palpatine has returned. Bigger idiots than you have done it. Every time I'm worried about fucking something up at work to the point of having trouble. Yeah, every time I'm worried about fucking something up at work to the point of having trouble starting it, my wife says, do it badly, as a reminder that I constantly see people half-ass stuff at my company and get praised for it. And you know what? Turns out, if I just hammer something out, my boss always seems super pleased. The bar is often far lower than our personal standards.
Hey, did you see Yosemite's just not taking reservations for campsites?
There's a whole bunch now. They're at least talking about that, but
Good.
good.
Or like that one that I sent girls with a time machine. I'm your granddaughter. Oh my god. Kanye West with a time machine. She's up here, fellas, and it's a picture of Anne Frank.
Damn it.
Yeah, I can't believe none of you reacted to that when I sent it to you guys.
It took me a minute, and then I got it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, Kanye West with a time machine. He's up here. She's up here, fellas.
I'm not sure I saw that when you sent it.
Yeah, it's in there.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, it's basically she's up here, guys.
Hell yeah.
God damn, Kanye.
When it comes to communication things, I'm fucking bad. Like, especially on Discord, if I pop into a chat and there's like already been chat, I normally don't scroll up. It's like if it's on the screen, that's what I
Sometimes
get.
I'll catch up. It depends. It's like 50 plus messages. Dang. Let's see if I can catch up.
Yeah.
Scrolls back up. 100 plus. 150 plus. 200 plus. Never mind.
Yeah, just
I'll
back
just
to
jump
the-
in.
Yep.
Never mind.
Like back to the bottom. Too much to catch up.
Never mind. Don't care.
Right. Usually at that point, I just throw in the chat. Hey, just popped in. What did I miss?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like 200 plus new messages. What did I miss, guys?
Yeah. Like what's going on? What's up? This is weird.
But yeah, like, 'cause I'm remembering again from looking at other stuff or hearing about other places that got cut. Like, did Jesse Waters on Fox News is upset now? So he has a buddy who's a veteran. He made it sound like special operator for 20 years and everything. And he recently, got a job at the Pentagon a few months ago.
Mhm.
Probationary. Fired. Purged. And he's like, no, we shouldn't do that. He wasn't working on DEI or anything. What's up, guys? We should be more careful. Oh, good joy. That's what we've been saying forever.
What's
Yeah.
up, guys? We should be more careful. Maybe we should be careful about who we put in positions that can do things like this.
If anyone had an interest in downsizing the federal government in any sort of healthy way, they would have gone at retirements first and not hollowed out the entire new generation.
Right?
On the other hand, hollowing out the entire new generation means none of the agencies will function, which I'm pretty sure is the point. It's the objective.
Yeah, that's my analysis.
So we should ask Mom. It's like, Emily, you should just ask Mom for a rifle for your birthday.
Hmm.
Tell her you want an SIG MCX spear. Those are the new ones. Because if things go to shit, at some point we might get a hold of some of those spicy rounds. I don't know if your barrel will explode or if the civilian version can actually fire them, but we'll find out.
Yeah,
They'll be like, shit. They'll just yell at the other army. It's like, damn it, give me one of the M7. The
Throw me
spear
M7.
exploded when I tried to use your stupid ammo. Right?
The shit. Give me one of yours.
Yeah,
Give
give
me
me one of
M7.
yours.
The
Although
army guy just looks at me and goes, no.
if I were to guess, the civilian version could probably fire them without issue.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
it would be a bigger problem in setting up the manufacturing process to have
A lower grade barrel.
a lower grade barrel / components.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, I'm pretty sure the main piece that allows it to do for the chamber to actually survive those pressures and everything, the steel base on the case and the barrel's thick.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah. Maybe some slightly longer locking teeth on the bolt.
Maybe. And those are all things you will not set up two production lines for. That would be
No.
ridiculous.
No. Exactly. It is so
Yeah,
much
yeah,
more
yeah.
efficient to just control the way that the ammo casing is and how much powder's in the bitch. You know, like that's
And whether or not
that's
it can
easy.
fire automatic or not.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, the civilian version is more complicated. Just absolutely the hilarious part about firearms. Everyone's going, all right, fully automatic fire and everything now, and civilians have, oh shit.
Right? Oh.
How do we make these things safer? Right?
He was like,
It's ridiculous. It's kind of funny. You think of weapons and stuff. The civilian versions are far more complex because you have to do all the crazy internals with the springs and the mechanicals so that it only fires once. It takes a lot more components to make it fire only once.
Interesting.
My mind just went somewhere else. What do you think about like a belt-fed, like chain-fed? Well, the fancy belt, not the clip chain.
Right. No, you're talking about the fancy thing that's almost
It's like a
it's
box.
a feeding mechanism.
Yeah,
it's
like
metal.
Flexible.
It's with the
rectangular
kind of
tube.
thing that feeds the Gauade or the Bushmaster. Heavy
Yeah.
weapon, the
Yeah.
heavy weapon belts.
Exactly, like
They
that.
aren't belts. They're like feed mechanisms.
Yeah. So that combined with like Gatling, right? But for 22s, like 22 long rifle.
What, you mean multi-barrel?
Yeah, multi-barrel, spin it, have, like the belt to come around and feed it into the little like spot where it's supposed to go, and then like just an entire backpack of 22.
Shit. I forget the, I know it's showed up in video games a few times, and I forget the gun's actual name. But, similar thought process was, I think it's technically an SMG, because it's at least burst, if not more. But it's it has a cyclical magazine that takes up most of the gun, honestly. And it's,
P90?
huh?
Kind of like a P90?
No, it's a cylindrical.
Okay.
It's a Helix magazine. It's ridiculous, and the main reason why it doesn't work because drums or anything that isn't a simple spring is really hard to do.
Yeah.
Because I've watched enough videos of Ian, and there was a gun that he showed off, and it was a fun one of his several demonstrations of why drums can really suck, because you basically have to wind it, so it's a really long tape style spring
Yeah.
that pushes them, and you have to be careful when you're loading because you let go of the wrong thing and the bullets go everywhere,
Yeah.
and you're trying to load a 200 round magazine. But yeah, and I'll have to go look it up to find what the name is. But it was a similar idea. It was, I think, 100 rounds of 22, if not 200. And yeah, it's like, well, yeah, one 22 round gets stopped pretty easily by even a book. But if suddenly 20 of them are hitting in roughly the same place, just shredding whatever's there, even Kevlar's not going to stand up to it.
Yeah.
Was the thought process. And I'm pretty sure because of the magazine and feed issues, it never caught on because of reliability. Which I'm pretty sure is the same reason no Western country has ever done any of the crazy magazines like the fucking Soviets do. Their SMG that. I think that the place I've seen it most is like Battlefield, Call of Duty. You don't actually see it that often in the real world. The Bison. It's like a Kalashnikov, but it's firing 9mm or Makarov round, probably Makarov rounds, honestly. But it's a cylinder magazine under the barrel. Yeah, if you Google it, you'll notice it right away. What?
Cylinder like the drum, or cylinder like a fucking
Like a tube of cock. And that's when I'm talking about the 22, where the rounds are in a helix inside the magazine.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like Korea uses those crazy cylindrical magazines on their AKs that probably don't feed properly.
Huh. Yeah.
Like when you see them and they're marching, and everyone's like, "The fuck is that?" Because it's this giant fucking cylinder, almost looks like a rocket tube.
Okay.
And it's like, I think that's actually one of those
cylinder magazines. It probably doesn't feed correctly and is a liability on any actual battlefield.
Right.
You'll notice, especially in movies and war films, you'll never see anyone with any kind of like drum magazine in the 1911s. It's very rare because, man, reliability issues with the.
The drum magazine that was just in general.
Oh, I'm sorry, on no, Thompson, 1921.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Thompson's 21, right?
That I don't know. I just know that the 1911 is like that
Yes,
super
this-
classic.
Yes, the pistol that I could probably strip blindfolded.
That's
Almost.
actually one I don't know.
1911?
Yeah, the 1911.
I'm pretty sure I could.
I mean, it's the sort of pistol that gravitated towards, probably because of the movies, but no, it's fucking America's pistol. Fucking iconic. It's simple, ridiculously reliable. It's literally the design that
Basically the one I learned on.
Yeah, and then the other thing, the one I learned on, well, I've shot several. I think maybe if I buy my own gun again, I'll probably do a 9mm. It's 45 hertz after a while. And it's
45's more comfortable.
what?
Said my 45's more comfortable.
I find actually firing a 9mm is more comfortable.
The recoil on my 9mm is more than my 1911.
Really? So I found I was more accurate when I was shooting the an M9 versus the 1911. I think it's probably mostly because of recoil. And also this is the arm that I had surgery on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's smaller and weaker anyway.
Yeah.
Right hand dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I ever show you that?
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, no, like the arm's a good inch shorter. The only people that ever notice is like the tailor.
Yeah.
And the wiggly spine. It's barely not enough to require any sort of intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when the doctor ordered he was like, and just the orthopedist that was working on my arm, it was almost like as an afterthought, let's just take a look at your back. Even if you got an x-ray of my back, I'm like, oh my god. And honestly, I bet if someone must have studied if it's like caused by back mass. Is someone even looked into that? Because
No idea.
it's not just, rapid growth or anything like that. Because you find skeletons in history with more scoliosis. And, I don't know. It seems relatively common.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if
Like in high school, they're like, oh my gosh, your back's still a curve. Oh yeah, I know. I knew that a few years ago. I was getting my work on my arm done. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, I know. Also, I'm done growing, and it's not curved enough to worry about now.
What if we worked on that backpack design? The front and back thing, but we also included like a hip belt kind of thing. Like it would go down to the waist, and it would have some kind of like supports up to the shoulder area. Some kind of flexible-ish supports.
Yeah, just constructed like an internal frame backpack.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
Yeah, internal. I never used an internal frame. I had an external frame backpack because I'm pretty sure it was Uncle Mike's recommendation, and that you can attach more shit to it more easily, especially for a beginner. In fact, I used it once.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing it with like, acrylic, basically, plastic for the frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully kids will actually like this kind of nice.
Right.
Like,
Right? you're getting hugged, you got better weight distribution for your books, the positioning of the books happens to act kind of as like some level 2 to 3 plating.
Yeah. You could survive handgun rounds from this.
Probably.
You'd probably survive handgun rounds. Put your science book,
Yeah.
put your history book in the front, your science book in the back.
Right.
You know, the ones that are an inch thick.
Right. Hey, publishers, this is an incentive to put more information in these books. Make them thicker.
We'll mark it a holy version and it's just like Bibles.
Yeah.
You could even do it where it's just Bible pages and epoxy melted into a plate.
Holy armor of God.
Yeah.
You want Christians to supply us with money.
Yeah.
Actually, I almost want to do that now. I almost want to mold a breastplate out of pages that I've taken out of the Bible with epoxy, you know, so that and then sell it online as armor of the Word of God. Someone would buy it. Someone would buy that.
I mean, the shit you see on Etsy, yeah, you could easily. I made armor of God,
Right?
Some asshole's gonna buy it for $200 to show up at a LARP
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
because I
oh, we
would.
could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I think about it, do I actually come
Or you get even more fancy about it. Although who was that one dude who was doing it out of fiberglass blankets?
Yeah.
So you get those. We'll just have scribes and like actual quills and ink. You know, just write the verses on these, then we plaster them together in epoxy.
Hell yeah. God, it'd be fucking hilarious if that shit would work.
And now we need a priest to bless it.
Right? And then in the little fucking thing, we can add $5 and say plus 5 holy protection.
Oh. Hey, Katie, look, somebody said hello to me.
Hell yeah!
Yay! I don't know if they're still there, but I'm good.
Baba booey, baba booey, baba boo.
God damn it. Shut up, peanut crowd! Or, hold on, let me get you a mic so you can be included.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
What?
Actually, tell Mom that you need 3 rifles because this is becoming a Red Dawn scenario.
Right.
What are you, banana bread? Right? Very careful what you say.
You one break off. What are you? I look like a smart. I mean, like, you know that I would type that walking to the oven, but
Yep.
like, or, well, not the oven, but, you know, the thermostat. You know, but like,
Yeah. You'd still preheat it for me.
yeah.
But you would sass me for it.
I mean,
Yeah,
shit, I might
considering-
I might turn the oven on and open the door and let that be. Like, I preheated the apartment.
I've done it. Not at this apartment, but I've done it.
No, and like when I pointed out to Mom, I don't know, maybe I was there because I was for work or something. But no, how, you know, like after she uses it, Mom leaves the oven open.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that never struck us as weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is absolutely a poor people thing.
Oh,
You don't waste the heat.
yeah.
Don't waste the heat. Don't
Yeah.
waste that oven heat.
I mean,
It's
it
a
makes
poor
sense.
people. It's a poor people thing, apparently. And then I thought about it a little bit, and it made complete sense because Mom obviously picked it up from Galmani. Because boomers have never experienced actual
Poverty.
challenges of any kind. I'm not even the poverty part. They haven't faced challenge. Like Mom's like,
Yeah.
oh, I scripted saved, just trying to get ahead. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna put down. I'm gonna be like, that's awesome. I'm 40, and I'm pretty sure I'm like nearly $500,000 in debt.
Oh. You know, it's really funny, the quote that the
I'm almost
boomers,
40 and I have no savings.
Right. I'm
the,
about to lose my savings.
the quote that the boomers like so much, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. The boomers are the weak men.
Yeah.
They're the weak ones.
They are.
They
They'll be like,
create
we
the
had
hard
Vietnam,
fucking
and be
times.
like 20,000 of you died.
Yeah.
Some of you had nightmares. And you're like, wow, wow, wow.
You weren't
oh, yeah.
offing yourselves faster than the war could kill you.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, just saying.
Yeah, but no, they point that out that millennials are weak because they didn't just, suck it up and deal with it. I'm like, are you sure? Because, Hank over there, he ran over children in a convoy. Because today they weren't handing out candy bars. It was convoy day. And you don't know if they have bombs or not. And I don't think he's been sober for the past 3 years. So...
Right.
But yeah, no, we're
Like, no, because we got fed up with it. We got tired of that bullshit, so now we're being loud and obnoxious.
honestly, yeah. A lot
Ain't
of
no strings on me.
Like,
The moment we're free to actually speak our minds, because I mean, like, while we're under contract, we're not free to speak our minds.
mhm.
First Amendment is more or less suspended, at least for enlisted.
yeah, I don't
Especially
like when people
officers,
try
because
to have
it's like,
arguments about free speech. It's like you're curtailing free speech. Like, free speech was always curtailed, dumbass. The Supreme Court has had 2 centuries, 2.5 centuries. Yeah, because next year, oh god, there's gonna be, oh shit.
250 years, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Our the semi-tricentennial is next year. But we have a Trump presidency, so he's going to push harder for that military parade this time.
Yeah, he is.
In 250 years? Yeah, he's going to...
He wanted to be president during the 250th year of the country. Like,
Why? Just so he lost 2020 on purpose? No.
hey,
I
I'm not
honestly
saying
think
he
it's a
lost
happy
on purpose,
coincidence
but-
that he's not even realizing it because he is...
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, I don't think he realizes that the 250th is next year until someone points it out, and then he'll be like, awesome, and go back to his fucking military parade ideas.
Yeah, he's going to try and get that huge. The 250th. Quarter millennial. Yeah.
Maybe someone can convince him to do some sort of like naval parade, fire planes and stuff. He'd like that.
Oh, that would actually be cool. And those are bigger guns. Hey, sell it that way.
I'll just write an email to Pete. Hey, I know this is going to come up sometime. The president's going to ask about a military parade, and there's going to be all kinds of issues about weight and public streets and subways in D.C. and stuff. Naval parade, bigger guns, louder booms.
I mean, honestly, you should. You'll just get everything you need signed. Like, you should just send that email now, and then, like...
BT dubs need an exception for remote.
Yeah, like, P.S. And he goes,
Hi. Yeah, but, okay.
I mean, like, that's how this shit works now, so fuck it.
Shit, I wonder if the Army's still using video games to train.
Are you kidding me? The CIA is using video games to train the United States population before they even get to the military. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I kind of wonder how many kids in the U.S.
Became drone
ended
pilots?
up in like the intelligence community from like the Ace Attorney games. Oh, fucking, I have them on my computer. I need to go back to them. They're fucking fun games. Teaches you all about evidence gathering, procedure, putting the whole picture together.
Nice.
Like, yeah, I bet there's a non-zero number of kids from the early 2000s that went into intelligence.
I would not be at all surprised. I mean, I've never played.
Shit, why don't we we'll just go all out. We'll move to Virginia. We'll look at one of those openings that they keep advertising at Langley Air Force Base. Emily can be an analyst for the CIA. And we'll just talk about classified stuff in front of Alexa.
Hey, I like it. I just want access to a little like driver farm. Sort of a job, you know? I mean,
You can be my driver.
well, yeah, but if it were
Basically give
through
you
the
a
CIA, I
stipend.
could get paid. But I'm happy to just be your driver.
DoorDash and
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. DoorDash most of the time. I'm picking up a lot of pizzas
Right. It's like as much as people bitch about like private sector and like management, it's like you guys did such a good job. Here's a pizza party. Right? It's like, you guys need to remember
Oh boy.
in the government, the supervisor's not actually allowed to spend more than like $5 on. Like if he buys you your birthday meal once a year, you're doing good. Some supervisors don't. Most do that I've run into in that possible.
That's really nice.
But yeah, there's all kinds of ethics rules on that sort of stuff. On the other hand, we are unionized, and apparently it is in law. It is a statutory requirement that the Secretary of Defense do an in-depth analysis on civilian personnel before reducing the size of the civilian defense workforce. Like it has to, the law specifically states that that it cannot be based on cost. Yeah, you can downsize if it doesn't negatively impact, readiness, national security, all that.
So
And yeah, someone in the Pentagon has already said, yeah, that study hasn't been done, but it looks like we're firing people anyway.
Well, at least we know we can,
They're-
charge them later.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're nuking probationary employees, because there's no
Protections.
yeah, they don't have the legal protections,
Yeah.
which is making plenty of people in contracting also freak out because there's career conditional, and that period is much longer, but it's not necessarily the probationary period. It's fucking obnoxious. Because the way the contracting career field works, you're basically learning until you get to when you're actually released and considered trained. You're basically at like a captain level as far as compensation and responsibilities. If you're doing comparisons between civilians, finishing your internship program and being PS12 and having your, well, I guess now it's close to 80 grand a year. That's when you're done and no longer career conditional. So that's been causing people a lot of issues because there's never been a distinction between career conditional and probationary before. Or rather, no one's needed to know the distinction before, right?
That is annoying that matters now?
Yeah, but I know the undersecretary for acquisitions knows. Yeah, I think you're done there, bro.
Yeah.
Or you need to back it a little and get maybe one more out of it, but looks basically But yeah, it's nice that the Undersecretary of the Air Force is like, yeah, we should communicate that contracting is currently 89% staffed, and if we start eliminating people, it's going to get much worse.
Right.
And people constantly complain about, oh, contracting's, the slowdown. They're taking too long. Usually it's, we're waiting on something.
Yeah. I remember harassing a supply about, where's my part after I ordered it. And they had to sit me down go through the whole list of like process on their side of things, so that I could understand that better. And then I would turn around and every time somebody would read that, I know, where's my part, where's my part, where's my part, because I'm not a mechanic, it's not mine. Then I could just turn around and be like, shut the fuck up, it'll be here in 2 weeks.
What's crazy is I should find one. Maybe through GSA, while they're still a thing. But they have these posters that is the complete acquisition life cycle.
Nice.
Nice.
It's basically a 2 by 3 foot poster.
Oh yeah.
And of a timeline is completely built.
Oh yeah.
There's, and people want to know about acquisitions and stuff. Boom! Here's the life cycle of an acquisition. Over here is the basic idea and research. Over here is retirement and disposition. And that's why the U.S., despite what apparently some MAGA voters think, has the strongest military in the world because we're literally completely focused on logistics and sustainment and maintenance.
Yeah. Yeah. So our equipment stays better longer.
I'm pretty sure it's baked into the formation of the country. It's like we do not have supplies. You know it's never going to happen again? Valley Forge. We're never going to have people start Battle of the Bulls. God damn it! Backstone. God damn it! Okay, but after this time. Because yeah, even in World War II, we weren't, the famous part of that one episode when the guy got he was trying to dry out his socks and feet because he was getting trench foot. And like the shrapnel hit his boots because they were outside of the hole. And he's like, what size are you? 9, just like everyone else. yeah, the modern military looks nothing like it did in World War II. World War II was very haphazard. Yeah. He's like, what size are you? 9, just like everyone else.
Everybody showing up, and the fact that we had like 5 fucking sizes of fucking uniform. You know? I mean, like, not even, you had more than that, because it was small, medium, and large, and then it was small, short, small, medium, small, tall, medium, short, medium, tall, and large, small, large, medium.
So all the clothes
tall.
came in short or tall.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, nine options of size for Marine Green. And then the dress stuff is obviously tailored.
Yeah, I never had to buy clothes with some sort of short designation, not discounting the fact that they exist, but all my clothes I'm looking for the tall version, right? Obvious reasons.
I've had to.
I look for clothes that are small and then short.
Are you kidding? I take her shopping in the children's section. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
I mean, like, listen, she picks up stuff and it looks good on her, so whatever, but like...
Doesn't matter what section I get it from.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it.
It was just
Besides,
extra...
those are cheaper.
Yeah, it was just extra amusing to, like, watch you do that with, like, Google search and realize that, you know, no, yeah, you kind of have the body of a 12-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah, you get to shop in these for young adults.
Young adult, I shop in, like, the teen section because petites don't fit right either.
I was going to say because you stopped growing at 14.
I don't have an ass. Like,
I know.
everything they make,
Well,
the
that's
hips
just-
and butt is like twice the size of the waist. And I'm like,
I'm so glad I didn't get that.
I can smuggle shit in this. Like, I could smuggle children in my pants and you wouldn't know.
It is sometimes an issue that the seat takes so much pant space that my groin has problems.
Oh well.
Why do mammals like get involved? It's so counterintuitive.
Whatever dangly is.
Yeah, all the genitals on the outside because like hyenas specifically will tear the balls off of buffalo or other prey that they hunt.
Should.
Yeah, hyenas go for genitals. But lions will also cripple hyenas for fun.
Okay.
To be dicks to them because they hate hyenas.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
male or female lions will clamp down on the spine, but like towards the back.
Yeah.
So you can watch hyenas. They usually don't live much longer after that year when they have to suddenly run on only front legs because the lion broke their back to cripple them, not to kill them. He purposely left it alive.
That's fucked up.
See one of those hyenas fucking like doing the chihuahua thing where its ass end is just up in the air and it's balanced on its front legs and running like, I hate you.
Yes, that's because a
Really? That's how you
lion
do it?
has crushed part of its spine and paralyzed its back legs.
That's what hilarious.
And that's what the crazy thing about hyenas is. Obviously, they're not your most successful hunters because that kind of cat is.
Right?
Holy shit! and no, but they like it's something ridiculous. Like 80 or 90% of their food they hunt themselves. So whatever English naturalist in the Victorian era told us they were scavengers was incorrect, and did not look at them nearly well.
Probably didn't
Hello,
leave the
person.
safety of
It's
its
been good.
like local settlement.
Yeah, well, most bad things that have happened or things that were incorrect we can trace back to Victorian Englishmen.
Yeah. Yeah, that tracks.
That sounds about right.
The age of exploration.
Yeah.
That shit was happening, and the 18th century too.
Yeah. The age where white people were like, surely none of these myths of far distant lands could actually possibly hold any kind of veracity. And then they start traveling all over the place and discovering all these places, and it's really just you followed the directions that were in the myth, which is just old-timey sailors' directions.
Yeah, the old-timey sailors' direction. Yeah, no, the Persians knew about this shit like 2,000 years ago, right? Right? Mansa Musa collapsed the Egyptian economy on his pilgrimage.
Yeah, just going through and being nice.
And then he went back through, he's like, oh shit, how about I sell you these things at really high prices
Yeah.
to get all the gold back out of their economy?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he splashed so much gold during his pilgrimage in Egypt
Yeah.
that the inflation was insane and gold lost its value.
Yeah.
Or.
Yeah. So then you had to go back through and make it more scarce again.
Like, yeah, because, yeah, it was ridiculous. The stories were to the point where they're like balancing gold bars against salt because salt was far more valuable.
Shit.
Huh.
And unless it's one of those fake facts again, then it's actually the origin of the word salary.
Oh yeah, because salt.
Yes, Roman
People used to get
soldiers
paid in salt.
Roman soldiers were paid in salt
Right, yeah.
because it was the one commodity that was easily tradable anywhere in the empire
Yeah.
and
Held pretty much decent value. Possible.
right because it was a spice. It
Yeah.
held a stable value across the entire empire,
Huh.
especially the further places
Yeah.
like possibly Britannia when they're like Roman coin. The fuck are we doing? What are we gonna do with that?
Right.
Well, here's some salt. Put
Use
this on your
the
put this on your venison.
Oh my god, this is so fucking
And they're like,
good.
holy shit, right?
It's like, that is a massive improvement. How do I get more? That's not all it can do.
Which is honestly one of the greatest cons ever because the oceans are literally filled with it, and all you really have to do is get a pan or something, let it dry out.
Mhm.
Oh, you want me to throw it in. Okay.
So noisy.
Don't know how I got into this side. I discovered that there has been a charge put in place on a notorious seafood poacher off the coast of British Columbia. There was a high-speed boat chasing off. They fished the guy's phone out of water in order to get the evidence they needed. He made $1 million off of 40,000 pounds of seafood covers. let me get this straight. We're here to rescue a princess. That's right. At the request of the princess. Right again. And you, who will be leading the expedition, are also the princess. You are very perceptive. How big is your royal family exactly? We don't have one, but we overthrew our monarchy centuries ago, but we kept most of the titles around. The rank of princess is held by the directors in charge of various civil service branches. Huh. And the princess we're rescuing today is in charge of public sanitation. The Lord of Death's minion kidnapped your public sanitation director? We think he's a little confused. Top department of prosecutor has resigned in the last hour.
Which department?
Justice.
Someone's hard. Good job, Jimmy. The police officer depicted here is campus police officer Lieutenant John Peck, who pepper sprayed peaceful protesters at University of California, Davis. UCD reportedly paid $175,000 for this image to not appear when you search by Google. So you mean to tell me that just by reblogging this, I'm ruining an organization's plan, wasting the money, and uncovering some shitbag human's awful behavior? Triple kill. Nice.
Definitely don't let. Definitely don't. Lieutenant John Pike, by nickname Sergeant Pepper. I know he hates that. So if you ever see a Lieutenant John Pike, or, you know, if he does rank up, you know, you Sergeant Pepper.
I like it.
My 4-year-old was sitting on my lap and she felt the baby kick her in the back. She immediately started crying about the baby kicking her. This baby isn't even born. They're already fighting. God help me. The ADHD people are working on anything other than what they should be working on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just like, I did it. What did you do? This. That is not what we asked you to do. No, but it is done. You just gonna stand there? You gotta get up there. Oh, I see. First.
New York police officer fires his .38 service revolver at almost point-blank range into a piece of bulletproof glass with a very brave test subject behind it, 1931. What experimental value does a whole living guy add to this? Response, by heavenly havoc. Cops don't shoot their guns if there's no potential for civilian harm. It's a motivator. Why do you have to leave me? Why is this necessary? Have I given you too many pets? And now you have to return the favor? Otherwise you're too indebted or some shit? What's going on? Such a cougar. Why must I accept this? I don't need this.
Because he loves you.
I love you too. Why do you gotta make me feel so? I love you. Yeah, I saw the Lovecraftian horrors and didn't succumb to the madness. What? No, I'm not in occultist games. For Christ's sake. What you're forgetting, my friend, is that H.P. Lovecraft wasn't a flexible man. His brain simply wasn't stretchy enough to take it all in. I, however, have short-term memory issues. Flexibility is the name of the game when you can't remember if you ate lunch or not. What's the size of the universe? Big. You knew that already, James. Come on now. You don't need to witness the terrifying ocean at the base of the entirety of reality itself to know that. Ask Ray. Right. You must imagine the character I've created here wearing a suit and a monocle. During an Eldritch Horror-based tabletop RPG, my character was a young dandy who wasn't particularly interested in all this monster mystery stuff, but his father, my brother's character, was a researcher who was very into it. So Birdie went along to make sure the old man didn't get into too much trouble. It was your average Eldritch Horrors RPG in that you don't make your characters with the expectation that they will survive for very long. Both the game itself and the genre are very intent on turning your characters inside out, driving them insane, and blowing them up in no particular order. The thing was, everything in this nightmare hellscape just seemed to keep coming up Birdie, because the man was too stupid to realize what genre he was in. Every time he had to roll for a sanity check whenever he saw something crazy, the dice treated him so well that he just didn't get it. Gee, that sure is a funny costume. There's something wrong with that dog. These mean guys in stupid hats are trying to hurt that young lady. We can't have that. I had not built him this way. His intelligence stats weren't even that bad. Random chance just made it so this man was living a Scooby-Doo adventure while everyone else was being consumed by the horrors. The final straw was at the end of an adventure when Birdie escaped from the cultist headquarters by breaking through the mansion's front window on a motorcycle with a hot rescued sacrificial maiden clinging to his back and leading the cultists on a merry chase through the hedge maze while the other adventurers escaped. His sanity score? Higher than when the adventure had begun. He had found the whole experience quite thrilling and felt very good about life in general. Birdie retired from adventuring to marry the maiden he rescued and care for his aging father and delight and amuse his friends at Jones Club with stories of his wacky adventures. I don't want to risk breaking this ridiculous lucky streak. Just got that. Character that's supposed to be a throwaway, die against all odds, survives everything, gets up a little, settles down, marries, cares for his father and shit. Huh? What's up, Blackles?
Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. I wish I could reach it.
You're losing what? No, I know exactly where it is. The floor. Don't ever underestimate it.
Yes. Where's their coolers? You want buttons? You want buttons? Where's your mother's buttons? She doesn't have the springy legs that you do.
Uday Chakra. When I die, I want to be buried, and not in a casket. I want my dead body to nourish the soil, and at least be useful in my death. Man cannot be blank. Be useful in life first. Uday Chakra. That shit is said. I love it when my pets sigh. Like, what is familiar? I used to read along that one all the time, and now I just like it whenever I see it, because, like, I realized, nah, they do a hell of a lot of heavy emotional. You know, like, they do the emotional support, even if they're not really sure what emotional support is. Unemployed, they may be jobless. Julia Girl Faye asked, not trying to be rude, genuinely curious, why are metal and wood not just earth? Okay, so Gallus Ross Metalus answered, assorted reasons off the top of my head. Metal, in this 5-element cycle, accounts for all non-living solids, metals, rocks, minerals, etc. Wood accounts for all alive or dead solids. Dead being used to be alive, which is a really different thing than was never alive in the first place in terms of physics, biology, I mean, it's true, but it's funny that that's a distinction.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I don't want to
Wood is neither properly a solid nor liquid. It's liquids trapped by malleable solids under pressure, which is a really different thing than solid in terms of physics. To put it in Atla terms, wood is its own element because neither earthbenders nor swamp water tribe can bend it. At least once it's dead, and the swamp tribe was using still living algae, the wettest plant. Deceased tree might be beyond them. Also, how neither earthbenders nor bloodbenders can bend bone. Putting living tissues solidly within either water or earth massively unbalances the elements in my humble opinion, hence the separation. The number 5 is in the Fibonacci sequence, and I can still do squared. Man, these last ones are really fun.
What's up?
No. It's actually about blood pumping, cheap clarification.
Well, I'll get back to this because apparently the Pentagon has proposed $50 billion in cuts.
The fuck?
I'll bet you anything is weapons programs because there's plenty of weapons programs that the military at large is like, yeah, this thing sucks, but Senator Dick Cheese won't let it go because it employs like 50,000 people in his state.
Yeah.
That's actually that
tracks so hard.
And if we're really looking at different, things, you go over to Boeing and Northrop, and you throw the SLS down and say try again. Because I honestly, the SLS is a welfare program. It costs $1 billion to make, and it's a disposable rocket. A Falcon 9 launch costs the U.S. government about $100 million. I think the only thing it can do is get to the moon because Elon has not proved that a Falcon Heavy can orbit the moon.
Fantastic.
I mean, it can, clearly, because he shot a roadster into orbit that's somehow floating around somewhere in the asteroid belt because it overshot Mars. But yeah, at the SLS, I'm pretty sure they did the unmanned Artemis thing already. Pretty sure that happened last year. But yeah, the SLS costs about $1 billion and it's completely disposable, like a Saturn V.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Yes, and much like the Saturn V, it is a gigantic waste of money.
Fantastic.
I think adjusted for inflation and buying power and everything, I think the SLS is technically cheaper than a Saturn V was when we were shooting those off in the 60s. That's how insane it is. But yeah, the Shelby's welfare program for the space. What's really depressing, and for all kinds of engineers, and I totally get their feeling and agree with them, is like the engines that were on the shuttle, they're like fully gimbaled and they're pretty damn powerful. The main engines and everything, and when they were getting incorporated into the SLS, they're just being thrown away. They're like the most advanced rocket motors that had ever been developed, and they're being used as disposables on the SLS. So that made some engineers really sad. They're like, these are the most complex, designed for reuse, powerful rocket motors that humans have made. And, well, now we're just using them as disposable. At least they still have jobs.
I guess that's probably the point there, is they want to keep making them.
It is the point, because the entire SLS, it's built out of, because you've seen it, right?
I think so.
It's
for sure.
It's
What's that stand for?
Space Launch System.
Something like
A lot of people like to call it the Senate Launch System because the only people that actually want it to actually happen are senators and all the contractors. The entire point was the shuttle program got canceled, but there are contractors that were part of the shuttle program, either manufacturing parts, assembling things, or something, in literally every state.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, SLS, use shuttle parts. Woohoo! Everyone's still employed.
Fantastic.
Except it's a boondoggle.
I mean, frankly, the best way to keep any kind of a fucking secret is to, like, break things down as far as possible into their component parts, scatter the production of those component parts across literally the entire country, and don't tell anybody what that part is actually, like, really for. And especially useful if you have a secondary and or tertiary use for it, and then just sell it that way.
Yes. However, for the space, they definitely know exactly what they're doing and where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, for all kinds of other weapons systems we do, yeah. We buy a whole bunch of these as a random serial number. And, it's, technically a microcontroller, but you marry that microcontroller with this other thing that we got from these other people.
Yeah.
Now it's a proximity fuse.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Love shit like that. I really.
And this other thing we added to it, well, now it has gyroscopically stabilized terminal guidance.
Nice.
That's a really fancy way of saying it's gonna go straight. It's gonna go straight.
You go make that line.
But yeah, I thought that was absolutely hilarious that there's talk of the Ukrainian drones having onboard AI so that they can still find and eliminate a target independently if it gets jammed and the operator loses control.
Yeah. I mean, like.
So at least for, we're not out sending hunter-killer swarms yet, but yeah, leveraging AI for terminal guidance on an FPV drone is insane.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I was chatting with ChatGPT about that a month or two ago for use with the the Jetsons up to the blimp idea, because I didn't want to let actual pilots, especially potentially inexperienced pilots, anywhere near a balloon that is, in my opinion, hopefully filled with fucking hydrogen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we have our way, it's filled with hydrogen.
Exactly.
Stop using the helium, assholes.
Exactly. Like, helium is a finite fucking resource, and like,
It is a finite resource, right up until fusion actually happens.
Fair.
Because then someone will then immediately figure out, okay, the very first thing that you get from a hydrogen fusion is more helium that's harvested.
Yes. Yes. Like, once we've got that, then, sure, let's do the helium thing. But, like, let's just get the hydrogen thing under control. Let's just get the safeties and the systems all set up so that shit like Hindenburg doesn't happen again.
Oh my god, I'm sure there are all kinds of things different now that would immediately
So many things stopped that from happening. Or at least it stopped it from being so catastrophic.
I mean, I guess electricity wasn't new. It was the 30s, so it was still. I guess it was still new being rolled out widespread, but.
Well, I mean,
now,
but I mean,
we're going to know.
so.
Because I think that if I remember correctly, it was like a grounding issue, and then there was a spark. It's like a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And like, okay, well, we know how electricity works now, and like, wherever it docks, the first thing we're going to be thinking of is grounding.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're going to be thinking about electrical charge every time that thing docks, not just because, oh no, there's been an electrical storm nearby.
Yeah, and it's not like there's a rope or a cable or something. No, it's hooking into a copper ground line.
Yeah. Like, the static panels will be grounded. Not like the, oh my god.
Just like your house. It docks and connects to a ground line.
Yeah. Like, that's so much of necessary shit. But if we can do that, then,
Well, we also have like plastics and rubbers and stuff.
yeah.
Just use a self-closing ladders like they do for field tanks and fighters.
I love it.
I mean, not all fighters, but definitely the A-10.
Yeah.
It's tanks, y'all.
Yeah. One of the, I want to kind of make it dual purpose. Because, like, in order to come down to dock, you have to, like, either compress some of the gas or bleed it.
Or bleed ballast, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not
going to bleed the gas.
Exactly. So we've got to have onboard compressors, which, we're going to be using hydrogen. I'm not terribly worried about the lift implications here. But that way we can recompress the hydrogen into a tighter form, and then that'll let us get down low and closer to the ground and everything, and then that can be used as fuel. I mean, we liquid hydrogen, we can transfer that out of the blimp if necessary, into hopefully hydrogen-powered cars.
Or simply let it re-expand.
Yeah, to take it back up, and that would depend on, but that would be the dual purpose use of it, like if we are making such a use out of hydrogen and we're going to be moving such large gas bags of hydrogen around, then we should also, be able to make use of the hydrogen that's available in gas for something else, So, like, having an on-hand at the hangar tank that we can fill a blimp with regardless, and then having another tank that we can bleed a blimp with, and reuse that hydrogen for other things, making it multi-purpose, makes it more interesting for other industries and companies and things like that to get in on. Because there's more access to the technology that we can spread that bit. But essentially what I'm considering is strapping a passenger gondola to the underside of the fuel tanker. The gaseous fuel tanker.
Yeah.
So there might be some legal implications there that would be difficult.
Yeah, just a little. Just a bit.
Right?
I can.
Medical conclusion about ice elemental piping is the first major discovery Mohammed became famous for, and it goes like this. The category of ice type has historically been something of the miscellaneous garbage bin of every vaguely cold Zen Takuto ability with no regard for the actual piping. Hence, it's more accurate to say that an unspecified ice type is really a not air.
Germany has indicated their willingness to provide Ukraine with Taurus cruise missiles.
Nice. Hell yeah.
And they're already sending apparently 100 missiles for an anti-air battery system that they donated. So we'll see what else happens because, I'm sitting here thinking, hey NATO, if the U.S. is just going to abandon you, you should tell the Poles and the Finns it's open season.
Right.
So I don't think you understand. I'm positive most Americans, especially after this video I just saw, where people are like, would you rather vote for Kamala Harris or Putin? And a whole bunch of MAGA people are like, I'd vote for Putin. Because Kamala Harris stands for socialism. And I'm like, you dumb fucks. And like, I don't have a problem with Russia, like them saying, but it definitely hones in on the kind of people where they're like, well, Russia invaded Ukraine. It's like, that doesn't bother me. Russia invaded another country with no reason to, with very little pretext. So like that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's like you dumb fuckers.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of them. So those people definitely don't realize. Yeah. And people older than me are like, I don't have a problem with Russia. I'm like, you don't? Well, why not? Why not?
Really? Why?
It's like, apparently you have not been paying attention as an American because, sure, this is going to make some people mad, but never trust a Russian.
Not like,
Don't trust a Russian.
yeah, like it's on the same level of like shit. I lost my analogy, but it was like Men in Black. A person can be intelligent, but people are stupid. You know, like if I meet and personally assess a Russian, I can trust them as far as I personally assess them.
Younger Russians are mostly probably.
Yeah.
There's certainly some, especially the ones that are like, oh, do university and stuff. They're like, yeah, I have no idea what it is. And some of their responses are like, I have no idea. They basically ask, what is wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I don't know.
Which was part of Putin's justification. Oh no, they're being oppressed and stuff. And,
By you.
well, they are now. If they were being oppressed and super wanted to be Russian and everything, you know, instead of, you know, encouraging their armed resistance, you could just let them live. Right. But now Russia decided to arm rebels.
Because why give up an opportunity to allow them to kill themselves
Yeah.
and gain agricultural and mineral rights?
It's not only a few years
Right.
ago. And I was sitting there and we were talking about, oh, there's Russians right there on the border. I'm like, they're gonna invade. And it was like mid-2020. It's like Russians gathering on the border. You know, the low intensity fighting with, you know, armed insurgents basically was what they were fighting in the Donetsk region. And yeah, and they were basically just waiting for the spring thaw. Because February 2021, they launched the most embarrassingly ineffective invasion.
Yeah. I remember in like 2018, it was about 2018, that I was still in school back out of Louisiana. And we were transitioning from a focus entirely on the Korean theater to the kind of Baltic region over there with Ukraine and all that. And we were specifically talking about, you know, the tank problem and things like that already back then.
No, of course. Yeah, I mean, after 2014, the
Yeah.
Pentagon was talking about it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because they're like, tons of officers are like, yeah, they're not going to stop. They're consolidating.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, we talked about that stuff back then. You know, and like I remember being in that briefing, and you know, it was fun because we had no idea actually.
He looks so happy when he gets a classified briefing. Isn't it adorable, Emily? Right? They told us secret things I can't say to others. I'm like, yeah. Happens a lot, actually. Yeah.
Well, happens a lot when you know, get away from, you know, like the regimental level and you're actually in the building where there is a general.
Yeah. Or your specific skill set is not pulling a trigger.
Right. We're sitting here at the fucking keyboards, and like, I mean, oh my god, the shit I was trained for was to like manage the maintenance cycle of fucking serialized equipment. You know, like to manage and audit that.
Riveting.
Yeah, like that, but that's what I did, right? And so like going from there, like where I'm actively talking to a supply guy and a maintenance guy and fucking some officer that's breathing down all three of our necks about the same piece of equipment that's been broken for 2 weeks. You know, like that is what I'm used to. Going from that to theater where there is no serialized equipment. We got deployed to I mean, it's an exercise, but we got deployed to South Korea for 2 weeks, and they did not give us anything that was serialized to take with us. Nor did they issue us anything that was serialized once we arrived in the country.
So you keep track of it by.
Well,
You know-
okay, minor exception, we were handed a fucking gas mask once we arrived down south. That we were basically required to have near us, but that was it. And that was like on the day that they were doing the drill, and they had us put it on one time while we were inside the building for like 3 or 4 hours, maybe 5 hours.
Speaking of the Baltics, though, those are countries that we're going to be pulling troops out of, apparently.
That's right.
Because, yeah, apparently one of the things that the president said, no, we're just going to withdraw all troops from countries that were not NATO members before 1990. So basically, only, none of the people we reached out to after the Iron Curtain, yeah,
So really fuck my entire generation.
and go up.
Yeah.
Yes. Like the only reason Germany will be intact is because there's a wall through Berlin this time.
Yeah.
And that it's not going to be split in two. But yeah, I'm sure the Finns and the Poles are like, well, if the U.S. is out, if the U.S. is abdicating responsibility, no one's there to tell us not to.
No one's on our side of the bench to tell us not to.
Yeah, exactly.
And if the United States decides to say something about it after they pulled out of the agreement, it's like, bitch, now you against all of Europe.
Right.
I mean,
Also not actually something we couldn't do.
No, fair. Absolutely fair. And like,
Because the part of this video I'm watching where Germany said, yeah, under current spending, we cannot maintain any sort of self-defense force. That's all of Europe's like, wait, the U.S. might be just leaving.
yeah.
Because literally everyone realized none of their current budgets and spending levels account for self-defense.
Oopsies.
With the exception of probably Finland. Because again,
Well, maybe the UK? Or, I mean, because I feel like they would be kind of.
per capita they maybe have more soldiers. I don't know honestly, as far as like demographics and everything. But
How many people are on that tiny island? Hey, Siri. What is the population of the United Kingdom?
As of 2024, the population of the United Kingdom was 69,138,192.
Okay.
they're higher than I
Thank you,
thought.
Siri.
My pleasure.
I was guessing 50.
Yeah, it's just shy of 70. Well, a couple 100,000 shy of 70, but like, to round it to a nice whole number, 70,000 people. 70 million people.
Yeah, but places like Finland are going to be in better shape because of mandatory military service.
Yeah, it's something I've been advocating for since I was like 5.
And literally centuries of animosity at this point.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, honestly, yeah, Finland needs
What?
just a tiny little okay, the U.S. fucking off might be it. To
Yeah.
where, suddenly we're gonna read headlines
Finland's
about like tank columns crossing the Urals.
Fuck yeah. Blaring fucking, what's that fucking, I think it's called Walk.
I was gonna say they're Finns, so probably something dark and doom metally at most, if not just, fucking Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, because they're very dour.
Fair.
Like the entire that joke in Community about Shirley's friend,
from Finland and how he's like super boring
Mm-hmm.
and like the worst. And it was like cut him some slack. He grew up in a land without sun. It's mostly accurate. Finns are very dour kind of people.
Alright, intro, maybe first person, then chorus. So it's at the chorus that references the tank column thing. So imagine this being blared by tanks going through the mountains. This shit's up. Maybe with some extra shit thrown in there to make it heavier. But like this is a core. And I can't remember the mountains is this one line. But like listening to this and thinking, you know, if you put a heavier kind of metal in the back of this, you know, like if someone remixed this a bit, that could be, like if you took this track and threw it at someone like a DJ and said, make this fit like a Marine Corps bloodthirst,